Wool.
And cotton. Linen and
Flax.
wool. So what does all that mean? Why is shatnez forbidden? Because it is symbolic of a heart that is mixed, double-minded, part flesh and part stone.
Exactly. So it's confused.
You were that you were hot or cold, baby.
Exactly.
Oh, yep.
Persecution and trials come to immediately test the sown word. Go to Tehillim 18:30. Quickly, Tehillim 18:30. Affliction will come after a true promise. If it's no affliction, it wasn't a true promise. Kingdom principle.
Okay.
The principle is that the word from Yahuwah must be tested in your life, not in somebody else's. If Yahuwah gave it to you, you're the one who's going to be the recipient of the test.
Amen. Okay.
Is anyone enjoying?
Amen.
Amen.
Try the others. Is anyone enjoying?
Amen.
Amen.
If you receive a word of understanding, of binah or chachma, it is to show you the ways and not just the acts.
Amen.
And to bring you into an affliction and trial of your flesh that will immediately test your heart and the covenant promise. To put it another way, the reception of true doctrine is always followed by personal testing. Write it down. If a doctrine is true, it'll be followed by testing. Personal testing.
Everything goes smooth.
Shabbat, perfect example. You really believe this lunar stuff? Okay. Your boss is going to test you, and then when you conquered him, and you thought you got him on your side, there's going to be a new boss. And then when you got that boss conquered, there's going to be a new boss. This time, if you have any choice about who your boss is, make sure he's real tall. This way it'll be easier to kiss his tuchus. So Shabbat has it. The word came, lunar, glory, glory. Rabbi, you're right. I see the moon. I wake up, I see the moon. I go to sleep, I was raised with the moon. Rabbi, Cecile said, Rabbi, you're not fooling me. There's nothing new to me. I was raised with the moon. I saw the moon when I was, right? I'm not making fun of you. Go with the flow. All right? You don't have to tell me this stuff. I was raised with the moon. Right? But as soon as that test, oh, crud. Social Security, Social Insecurity, Blue Cross, Red Crescent, insurance policies. Oh my, the repercussions are unthinkable. The word comes in right away, and the word is tested. You didn't think you were going to go through, receive a true revelation, because that's the way the kingdom works. The Father said to Yeshua, you want to be a Mashiach? There have been a lot of Mashiachs in Jewish history with long beards and fat stomachs. You want to be a Mashiach? Here's the plan. You ready? You're going to be sown in the ground. And then you're going to be resurrected in glory. How many of you would still want to be the Mashiach? And be beaten by your own creation that you were dying for. You made them, you were bleeding for them to atone for them, and they were ridiculing you in the process.
Wow.
But he was the word of Yahuwah. He had to be tested. He was the covenant of promise. He had to be, and it had to be tested.
Amen.
Amen. So we know that the stony heart, according to Yeshua, will not endure the test. The stony heart will not endure the affliction or the calling, and inevitably give up. That's another way to know if you have a stony heart. You give up too easily. One bad day, you give up. One jealousy fit, you give up. One temper tantrum, your wife has a temper tantrum, you're ready to break covenant. Or your husband has a temper tantrum, you're ready to break covenant. The heart is still partially stony. It's a mixed heart. We walk by the eyes of the covenant, or the eyes of the ruach, not the eyes of the flesh. Say, get rid of him, get rid of her. Walk out on your children. No. But the eyes of the ruach are propelled by the covenant.
Amen.
And say, fine, even if things fall apart, no matter how, the more stuff falls apart, the more your glory can invade my darkness, and the more possibility and the more room you have to work.
Amen.
So we don't look for tragedy, but we know that when something is shown us, it's going to be tested. That's the way the kingdom works.
Amen.
We continue. Every time we receive a word, affliction will come.
Amen.
Amen.
To reveal your heart as either stone or as flesh. A stony heart will never endure affliction.
Amen.
And the calling will inevitably be lost and given up. The stony heart will desire a quick return to the former life of Egypt. If we're always giving up very easily, there's a lot of stone that needs to come out. Well, Rabbi, I want you to know that I tried this. I did it. I've been tithing. I gave you my last blessed Lincoln. I can't pay my FP&L, Rabbi. It doesn't work. If it really works, Rabbi, why don't you sit there and you tithe to me and let's see if it works. Glory. Huh? So, affliction, listen, a heart of stone is looking for reasons to give up. And inevitably will give up. And desire a return to the way things used to be. Oh, the way things I long for. A stony heart longs for the way things used to be. Saturday, Shabbat. Easy to get off of work. Things were in the church, and when things were tough, the pastor could write a check, and all our expenses were paid. We didn't have to live from week to week. We were part of a huge, big, dynamic, growing ministry. Oh, I long for the days of the leeks and the onions. I long for those days, murmuring, complaining, fear. If you're always afraid, chest pains, anxiety, headaches, comas, surgery. If your fear is, and I'm not making fun of anybody, I'm telling you, you need to ask Yahuwah to take your stony heart and change it
False evidence appearing real.
to a heart of flesh.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Can't do it yourself. Not by might, not by power, but by my Ruach, says Yahuwah.
Amen.
Thank you.
Let's continue.
Amen.
The soft heart of flesh, on the other hand, can endure testing, can endure affliction. Listen, after the word is sown and given, because it knows it's going to be tested. A heart of flesh can advance to see the promises of Yahuwah. Listen, a heart of flesh doesn't see a death checkpoint as death. It sees it as the first step to life.
Amen.
You follow what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
A heart of flesh sees the test and the affliction and the death that's required, says, Father, where do I sow this? Where do I sow this hope? Because it was my hope, not yours. Where do I sow this dream? Because it was my dream, not yours. Where do I sow this understanding? Because it was my understanding, not yours. Forget about being willing to sow it and not wanting to return to Egypt where I thought things were good. Right. That's when you were beaten every day. That's when you were enslaved every day. That's when you were ridiculed every day. The enemy is a great deceiver. He makes us think that those were the good old days.
Right.
In the good old days, you were crying out for deliverance back in the good old days. So a heart of flesh says, Father, where do I die today? Father, I don't want the past. I want the future. Yes, I had 20 good years. Yes, I had 40 good years in that school, with that job, with that career. Where's the new one? Where's the glory? Where's the inheritance? Where's the promise?
I like that.
Calling those things that are not as if they were, somebody.
Amen. Yes.
You may have 100 wives, but Yahuwah has one for me, and it's being stored for the right time, one husband for the right time. Well, I'm to this and I'm to that. So there are two truths in front of your eyes. The eyes of the flesh versus the eyes of the covenant and the Ruach. We must determine to walk in the truth of the promise and not the truth of our eyes. Go back to Bamidbar 13:27. Bamidbar, I'm so glad we have plenty of time today. I'm going to go quickly. Bamidbar 13:27 and 14:25. Read that for me and we'll try to go quickly. I know it's difficult, but stay with me. Food doesn't start getting cold till 5. Okay. Bamidbar 13:27. Bamidbar 13:27. Relax, it's not a problem. It's my voice, not yours. So let me keep talking. Reading. Bamidbar 13:27.
What's the other one?
And they told him and said, We came to the land where you sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey.
Stop. Go ahead.
And this is the fruit of it.
Joshua and Caleb saw the land flowing with milk and honey, and the fruit was, walk in. Don't fight, just walk in.